Audeze are well known for their high-end planar magnetic headphones and more recently for their line of iSign in-ear monitors, which too feature planar magnetic drivers. But so far the focus has always been on the music side of audio reproduction rather than anything else really. But interestingly enough, Audeze decided to go in somewhat of a totally new direction, and that direction is this, the Mobius. A headphone designed for gaming but featuring some pretty interesting tech that we haven't really seen much before of. The thing that first struck me about the design of the Mobius is that it looks, I don't want to say generic, but a bit like you would expect a gaming inspired set of headphones to look. The soft touch rubberized finish looks very sleek and stealthy, but then you've got those colored accents to give it a bit more pop and character. It reminds me a bit of the Tron motorcycles, the only thing missing being that these accents don't actually light up. One of the key characteristics of a set of gaming headphones is the fact that they absolutely must be comfortable for longer listening sessions. Games don't usually last just a few minutes, and some people can go on for a shocking amount of hours at a single time. This is something that Audeze clearly invested a lot of time and research in because the Mobius is indeed a very comfortable set of cans. The headband padding is fairly thick but still quite soft, and likewise the ear pads are pretty thick too, but even softer than the padding for the headband. I don't think they're quite in the same league as the pads used on the Bose QC35 series, but pretty comfy nonetheless. But the padding is just one aspect of the comfort. The other one to consider is the clamping force. Here I think Audeze hit that perfect sweet spot of making these headphones provide just enough clamping force to sit securely and to provide isolation whilst still remaining comfortable enough for long listening sessions. Being a wireless type of headphone, we do get a few controls on the left ear cup. First up are the two multi-functional dials. As we can see, the one has a headphone icon whilst the other has a microphone icon. So the first is used to adjust the headphone volume, as you would expect, whilst the second one is to adjust the gain of the optional microphone. But being multifunctional buttons, there are a couple of extra features. If you give the volume dial a quick press and then scroll, you can skip to the next track or go back to the previous track. Or, if you double press this dial, the Mobius will attempt to connect to the last Bluetooth host device. For the microphone dial, a single press and scroll will allow you to switch between a few built-in equalization curves, whereas a long press of about 3 seconds will change the audio mode between 7.1 channel, stereo, or high res. Right next to the microphone dial is a 3.5mm stereo input jack, which is to be used for a regular analog connection, like a traditional wired headphone. After that is a USB Type-C connector, which can be used to either charge the Mobius or you can use it as a digital input, meaning that the Mobius can simultaneously work as a headphone and its own external sound card. Then we've also got another 3.5mm jack, which is the input connector for the optional microphone. And then finally we've got a button which is labeled 3D. This is again a multifunctional button, as a double press allows you to change which input source is to be used, USB, analog or Bluetooth, and a 3-second press will alter the 3D audio mode. A single press will probably be the most often used function, as this will center the 3D stereo image, but we'll take a closer look at what this is when we discuss the sound. The faceplate of the left ear cup is also where you'll find the power button as well as the mute slider for the microphone. Overall, I think Audeze did a pretty good job with the design of the Mobius. Whilst I personally prefer a more toned down visual approach, I also understand that the Mobius wasn't designed for people like myself in mind. And for that reason, for the more gaming orientated audience, I think the Mobius has just the right amount of visual appeal. As far as the sound is concerned, the key selling point of the Mobius is not so much the sound itself, but rather how the sound is being processed. Apparently, the Mobius is the first high-end head tracking equipped headphone to be created specifically for gamers. So the idea here is that it uses a tracking system to calculate the orientation of your head, and then the sound is processed to give you the illusion of a more realistic setting. For example, if you're looking straight ahead and there is a particular sound coming through both the left and the right channel, then that sound will seem like it's coming from in front of you. But if you turn your head to the left, then the sound will shift to the right channel in order to give you the illusion of the sound still coming from a fixed point in space. It's a pretty cool idea, and one that definitely has tremendous benefits for gaming. But when it comes to listening to music, this doesn't really work as well. You see, unless the music is recorded or mastered for multi-channel systems like 5.1 or 7.1 systems, then really it's only intended to be listened to in a stereo manner, meaning just 2 channels, or perhaps 2.1 if you include a subwoofer. For that reason, trying to use this head tracking technology doesn't give a realistic result because it just changes the stereo separation between the left and the right channel. It doesn't sound natural for stereo music, and nor does it enhance the experience of listening to music. But as we said, this was designed for gaming, not really for audiophiles, and so it would only be fair to judge the product based on its intended purpose. And that leads me to where I think the Mobius will truly shine as a product. So definitely not with stereo music, but that's not to say that it sounds bad. It actually sounds pretty good. But also the application of the 3D effect for current computer gaming is quite limited. So no, where I think these will really show immense aptitude is with virtual reality. When we take computer gaming as an example, you don't really move your head away from the screen, and so the capabilities of the Mobius won't truly be put to the test, or perhaps even appreciated. With virtual reality, however, the whole point is that it's more of an experience involving the movement of your body. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't potential for the Mobius to be a great product for both music playback and for gaming. Instead, what I'm saying is that the way music is currently being produced and how computer games are currently being played simply isn't going to fully exploit the true power of the Mobius. Who knows, perhaps this is exactly the product that might steer music production into a new direction. And if that does end up happening, that would be awesome. But for now, for music playback, I would give this product a miss. If you're a gamer though, the Mobius still does offer an advantage over a regular set of gaming headphones. And so I think the $400 price tag is still reasonable enough to consider them as a good value proposition. And if in the future games are produced that better exploit the capabilities of the Mobius, it's also very likely that other competing products might be released but at higher prices. So perhaps now is a good time to jump on this kind of product. So let me know down below, what do you guys think? What would be the best application currently for this type of technology? That's it for this review, and that's all from me for now. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.